Welcome, Gemini and Gemini cross watchers, to your reading for this week. Whoops. So I hope you guys are having a great week. So we have the 10 of Cups here. If I can. So yeah, we have the 3 of Pentacles at the bottom. Gemini, what I'm getting here is you're feeling really accomplished. I feel like you, regardless of how close or far you are to your goal, there seems to be you're making really big strides, and it may not be necessarily, it may not look big on paper, if you will, but I feel like they are significant. It's like you're in a place where you can overpower yourself. Those like, because everybody has it to some extent, that like self-destructive sort of thing. I feel like it really feels like you've conquered it. I feel like you're also in this space where like you've realized how to enjoy life when it's good and how to accept things when it's bad. It's like you've learned to find a way to be not necessarily joyful, but to experience those two opposites in a way that still feels fulfilling. It's almost like instead of looking at it as like this up down thing, it's almost like a rainy or a dry season. I'm going to use a different deck, sorry. Just going to make sure there isn't anything from the other one. Okay. Can we get okay. So just gonna make sure there aren't any others. We got Death and the Hermit. Just gonna get one more. One more. Okay. Sorry guys, this deck is significantly thicker, so it's a little bit. Thank you. Okay. So we have the 4 of Cups reversed here. So Gemini. You know what it kind of feels like? I feel like either you're in this energy now or you're going through that lonely phase. That, especially if you are really pulling yourself out of one place in life to enter the next and you're doing some really big changes, oftentimes that means that you're alone. Because the friends that you had, you kind of start to grow away from them, and it doesn't mean that you completely cut them off or you don't connect anymore, but it's like because you're changing, the way that you relate to them also changes, and I feel like there is some loss of closeness there. You know that they don't see certain things the way that you do, whereas they may have before. You may have felt that there was like, that really good connection there. And it doesn't feel, there isn't any kind of forlorn energy about it. Sometimes when things like that happen and can be really challenging, and it doesn't feel like that for you. It feels more that it's very freeing. It feels like you can be yourself more. I feel like you may have been, you may not, but this is what I'm feeling. You may have been someone that had to compartmentalize different parts of yourself, different personality traits, depending on who you were around. This may or may not be the case, okay? But it's just this type of energy. It's like if you had both parents that were very chaotic and you had to kind of cater to whoever was in front of you at the time. And so you learned to, I was going to say function, but that sounds more like surviving. You learned how to continue to be functional in a situation where you had to be very nimble, very quick. You had to be able to change on a dime. Well, obviously not that quickly, but I feel like you had to be ready, willing, and able to not be yourself, to keep to keep everything copacetic. And I feel like, and now you're in a place where you don't have to do that anymore. And the fact that you don't, it's like you don't even realize that you're alone. I feel like the peace that you are experiencing, it's like the silence isn't deafening. It's freaking great. That's the type of energy. You certainly don't feel left out. And there isn't this energy. Sometimes when readings have this type of energy, there can be like a little bit of worry about like, well, what's going to happen when I come out of this? I'm not feeling that at all. It's this type of thing where like, and it's not like, oh, I'll come out when I'm good and ready with any kind of, snarky attitude. Sometimes we have that, but not here. It feels more that it's like, it'll feel like a natural progression to you when it happens. But right now you're just enjoying it. Oh man, that feels great. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I'm just going to make sure the deck is upright. Can we get a clarifier for Gemini? Whoops. Okay. So we have the Three of Pentacles, which was at the bottom of the deck for this. And then we have, oh my gosh. Okay. So 3 and Queen of Pentacles. 3 and Queen of Pentacles. I think that's cool. Anyway. I feel like just going back to those relationships that you had before, I do feel like you tried to bring them along. But it wasn't like, you were begging and pleading with them. You gave them an opportunity. You may have phrased it in a way that wouldn't seem like an overt opportunity. So if they declined, they wouldn't seem like the bad guy. Or it was a gentle way to do it to see if they were ready to change. And they weren't. So I feel like now you're like, that's okay. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep growing. That's the type of energy that I feel like there is this type of energy where like, oh, it's too bad they couldn't come with me, but it doesn't feel that it's, it doesn't feel like you're hurting, which is great. The only reason I say it like that is because it's unusual. Whoops. One more, please. One more for Capricorn. Hello. Yeah, you must be feeling like you really have your stuff together. And again, it's not this like, you think your shiz doesn't stink or whatever. I feel more that it's like you aren't worried about anything. I think you've been through something really challenging. I feel like while you're in this space, you may not, that it was hard, but I almost feel like you don't want to look back because you don't want to be, somebody here blames you. They're not blaming you for leaving. They're blaming you for not wanting to stay, for not, it almost, I'm kind of hearing like for not loving them, but that's what they're telling themselves. But I actually feel that it's more like, instead of wanting you back, it's more like, how dare Gemini leave? It's that type of a crappy energy. And I feel like the reason you're not looking back at it right now, number one, it's going to disturb your peace, but you also know that it's not going to get you anything. It's not going to, I feel like it would actually kind of shake you up a little bit. And it feels like it's pretty easy for you to block it out. So, Gemini, I think I'll leave it there. I love you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we will see you on the next one. Much love. Bye.